Before this video begins, there's a few things that you need to know before proceeding. First off, a lot of what I'm going to say is going to sound like common sense to a lot of people, which is great, but there's a lot of people out there who don't think in logic and apply this common sense. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Second, I have a feeling that there could potentially be, that one person watching who finds this advice to be very cliche. It really is cliche. Since, this advice sounds very cliche, they feel like, this advice is beneath them. They don't find this advice to be useful because of how simple it sounds. And, it's because it really is that simple. It really is that easy. But at the same time, it's a lot easier said than done. And this same exact person, feels this way about this advice, but they have yet to even try it out to see if it'll actually work, and they have yet to apply it to their own lives. And then lastly, this information, this advice is completely useless if you just watch this video without taking action and applying it to your own life. For you to just watch this video, gain knowledge, and not use it, at that point, the knowledge is just completely useless because you're not applying it. You're not going to get a result if you don't apply the knowledge. So now that everything's been addressed, let's proceed. In this video, I'm going to be discussing the importance of engaging in meaningful habits. And then in the second half of the video, I'm going to share some habits that I've picked up on throughout my self-improvement journey that have really changed my life drastically. So yeah, let's proceed. I want you to first think about your current daily habits, your daily routine. I want you to tell me and think about how you spend your time from the time you wake up, from the time you go to bed. I want you to think about how your time is spent daily, and most importantly, I want you to think about how you spend your free time. And then I want you to question these habits. Do these habits, help you evolve as an individual? Do these habits improve your life? Do these habits give your life more meaning? So, take all of those things into account. Your daily habits are simply just a projection of your external reality, aka your life. Your life looks the way it does based on what you do every day, how you spend your time daily. So if you're doing the bare minimum, your life is simply gonna equate to the bare minimum. For example, if you're someone who wants to, be a successful individual, but you have unsuccessful habits, why would you feel deserving of success? No, seriously. So if your daily routine consists of, waking up late, going to school and work, and then once you, come home from those things, school and work, you spend most of your time indulging in a lot of instant gratification activities, such as endless scrolling on social media, porn, binge watching Netflix, smoking weed, then why should you gain success? None of those habits reflect success, and you gained zero evolution through engaging in those habits. So why should you be worthy of success? You're quite literally just throwing your time out of the window, because after, those things are done, they no longer matter anymore. On top of that, where did you see these habits taking you? Where did you see yourself going with that routine? And how did you expect success out of that routine? Literally, where did you see your life going if you do these habits every day or on most days? In no way am I judging, those who partake in instant gratification, because a lot of those things led me to where I am today. I indulged in a few of those things myself in the past, but I'm just at a point where, instant gratification doesn't even bring me fulfillment. And, I also understand how cheap pleasures, these instant gratifications are just so normalized, and because they're so normalized, they seem a lot harmless than they actually are. And with that, a lot of people are just simply unconscious of the fact that these instant gratifications are holding them back from creating a more fulfilling and meaningful life or external reality. And I say this because you are the creator of your own reality. What you say goes. You get to dictate the life you want to live based on the habits you engage in and how you decide to spend your time daily. Also, instant gratification, it brings a lot of comfort. It takes the edge off. Receiving that pleasure in the moment, it may be fulfilling, in the current moment, but it's going to lead to regret in the future. And on top of that, you're going to wish that you spent your time more wisely in the current moment whenever we get to the future. So you want to remember that, today's comfort, today's pleasure could potentially bring a future of discomfort. And like I said, in no way am I judging, because I partook in a lot of instant gratification before I got on my self-improvement journey. And in the past, I had a habit of, coming home from school or work. I would come home, probably smoke some weed or hit the car, get on FaceTime. I would eat junk food for dinner and wonder why I'd wake up feeling so terrible and sluggish. I'd scroll endlessly on social media. I'd mindlessly consume any sort of content, instant gratification content, entertainment, if you will. And, in the midst of me engaging in all of these habits and in the midst of this being my daily routine, I wonder why I felt like my life had zero meaning and I wasn't getting fulfillment out of life. My daily habits were nothing but, a projection of my external reality and nothing but the consequences to my actions. And when I say the consequences to my actions, I mean I'm spending all of my time, I'm wasting a lot of time on, not making life more fulfilling, because instant gratification adds zero meaning to your life. And since I was so busy indulging in instant gratification, I wasn't even working on myself, nor was I working on creating a better life for myself and making life more enjoyable for myself. And I also felt so unhappy and unfulfilled. A lot of these habits, led to poor mental health. And since I have the knowledge that I do now, life has been more fulfilling and I have been able to live a more fulfilling and happy life. And in a separate video, I can talk about rewiring your mental health, because that is essentially what helped me develop this more positive, light mindset. So I can talk about that in a separate video. Good mental health and good habits, they go hand in hand. And also, I'm not against, certain instant gratifications if done in moderation. I'm not saying like you can't watch a little movie here and there if you want to. But yes, if you are going to partake in instant gratification, it needs to be done in moderation. It cannot be an everyday thing, because if it's an everyday thing, it's nothing but a distraction from reality. You need to face reality if you want a better life. You need to create a better reality. But it's important that we're engaging in meaningful habits, because it gives our life, more meaning, and it gives life, a sense of purpose. And, the entire point of this life is to create and evolve. So your habits need to reflect that, if that's, what you are trying to get out of life. And that's what you should be trying to get out of life. So you must replace your bad habits with better ones. You can't replace a bad habit with absence. It just doesn't work like that. And I see this within myself as well. Like, if you replace a habit with absence, you're more likely to fall back into temptation, to engage in that habit. So you just need a new distraction, is basically what I'm trying to say. And once you start to find more meaningful and better habits, your previous habits won't even bring you fulfillment anymore, because all you're gonna want to do is focus on your evolution. Like, when I'm engaging in any kind of instant gratification, like, I don't know, I just feel very unproductive. And I feel like that's just a result in me, you know, changing my life around and building better habits. But now that I've said all that, I'm gonna share, you know, some habits that I've picked up myself throughout my self-improvement journey. And these habits, you know, they've helped, you know, mold me into a more improved version of myself. And you know, there's still a lot of things that I have to work on. There's a lot of things that I'm still learning, and I'll never be done learning because you will never know it all. And also, I just want to note that with these habits, you know, you must be patient. You're not going to get, you know, that instant satisfaction, that instant result that you're looking for through these habits. These habits take time. And you know, recently I was watching one of Ruff's videos, and he said make the task the goal and not the goal the goal. So in this scenario, we are going to replace that with habits. So make completing the task, make completing that habit for the day the goal, and not the results of the habit the goal. If you are consistent with engaging in these habits daily, the goal, the result, will have no choice but to appear into your physical reality. You know, it just takes time. And you know, this is literal science, this is literal physics. If you do the work, you will get the result. You just have to be patient, is what I'm saying. So now that all of that's said, let's proceed. The first habit that I feel like really changed my life is reading. Reading has really changed my life, like I said. I've learned a lot through books. You know, I typically don't read stories. If I am reading a story, it's usually a manga, but I haven't read manga in ages. You can see I have some of my mangas up here. So if I am reading a book, it's not even most likely, it's a knowledgeable book. I only read things that can teach me things that I need to know or that I want to know, and things that can help me. I currently really just focus on reading self-improvement books. I do read financial books. I have a copy of Rich Dad Poor Dad that like I'm almost halfway through. But currently I'm reading Psycho-Cybernetics and Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I listen to the audio version on YouTube. Of course, if you want to buy the physical copy, you can. And also, I just feel like you can teach yourself a lot through reading books. A lot of books have exercises, you know, for you to do if you are reading self-improvement book. And you know, I'm also a firm believer in the more you know, the more you're capable of doing. And also, I believe that books should be read more than once. You know, we learn best through repetition anyways. And you know, reading the same books over and over like is really helpful because you know, you may have skipped over something the first few times you read it, and you could possibly be learning something new every time. And it's just a good way to have the information ingrained in your brain. At the beginning of my self-improvement journey, when I started reading, it was very difficult because I had a lot of trouble focusing. But yeah, I would constantly read, and then I would forget everything I read on that page. Like basically I was mindlessly reading. And if you are struggling with mind wandering, a technique that a lot of people use, and I still use this technique today, you know, is to recite what you read back to yourself, paragraph by paragraph. And if you're listening to an audiobook, this is a lot more difficult. But what I do if I'm dealing with mind wandering while reading audiobooks, I typically just like rewind it like back 10 seconds, and you know, I go from there. That is what helped me. I don't know if it'll help you, but it helps me. And also to make reading not feel like a chore. and not make it feel overstimulating. What you can do is start off with reading 5 minutes a day and then work your way up. So the following week, add on an additional 5 minutes, and then, just start to read as much as you can. I know that this is going to be difficult because our time is very limited, but you'd be surprised at how much time you're wasting. So if you have time to scroll on TikTok, you have time to read. No excuses. With the mind wandering, there's this theory that a lot of self-improvement influencers have. But I heard the theory from Hamza, and he says that our brains, our attention spans, equates to a social media feed. Whereas, when you scroll, there's a new video every second, and your brain is processing something new each second. So, yes, our brains equate to that, jumping from subject to subject constantly. So, yeah, that's most likely where it comes from. I don't know. It's just a theory. But yes, reading is an amazing way to acquire knowledge, So, yes, start reading today. Knowledge knows no bounds. The second habit that I've picked up throughout my self-improvement journey, I feel like is obvious, and that's watching self-improvement content. Watching self-improvement content, has played a very huge role in what I know about self-improvement today. Since I was on this journey alone, I feel like I needed, guidance of some sort, almost like a mentor, if that makes sense. And that's why I started to find influencers that could give me meaningful advice that would actually help me. And also because, like I said, you're not going to know it all, and there's going to be someone who has more knowledge than you on certain things, and it could potentially help you. And also by watching, the right people, by watching like-minded individuals, it really rubs off on you and, on you as a person. And I just see that so much inside of myself. I feel like, we're all a reflection of each other, but I really feel like I'm a reflection of the people I watch also. And with that, I'm also a firm believer in, being mindful of the influencers that you choose to listen to, because I'm a firm believer that that any hole in your body is a portal to your soul and your mind. That hole being your ears. Your ears are a portal to your soul and your mind. And also, I just really enjoy, learning through people, gaining wisdom through others, hearing other people's experiences throughout their journeys, and it gives you someone to relate to, especially if you don't know anyone in your life who is on self-improvement. And with watching self-improvement content, you cannot mindlessly watch this. Self-improvement content is not meant for you to binge watch. This is not Netflix. Self-improvement content is meant for you to watch and apply to real life. Now that we discussed all that, I'll recommend you guys some of my favorite self-improvement influencers. With the first being Vantu Cut. Yeah, he talks a lot about self-improvement. He talks about spirituality. He gives, he just gives so much knowledge, and he's just so passionate about it, which is why I really love watching his videos. He's just very straightforward, very honest, and I just really admire that. And I feel like that's very important when you're on self-improvement. I feel like he just he holds a mirror up in front of your face and makes you see everything for what it is. That's typically what a lot of self-improvement influencers do, but I just love the way he does it. So yes, Vantu Cut. Secondly, Abraham at Perception. He makes self-improvement content, obviously. His videos are usually really short, so if you're someone with a short attention span, he'll be perfect for you. And he's very laid back, very relaxed. The third influencer is Hamza. His videos are usually deemed towards young men, but lots of women do watch Hamza as well. If you are going to start off with watching Hamza, I really recommend that you start off with his guide to self-improvement, because that will really change your life. Now, the third habit that I've picked up on is going to the gym. Now, you do not have to go to the gym because everyone has different goals. You know, as long as you get some sort of physical activity in, that will be good for you. That's a good way to spend your time because you're spending your time focusing on your health. Whereas the other, two habits, you're focusing on gaining knowledge and advice. So, yes, these habits are useful in life and they make life more fulfilling and more, better to live. Going to the gym, it genuinely has to be one of the best forms of delayed gratification. Going to the gym is a great analogy for make the task the goal, but not the goal the goal. Because obviously when you go to the gym, depending on what you're doing, not even depending, but when you go to the gym, you are not getting that instant result. You have to be consistent in order to receive that result, in order to reap the benefits of going to the gym. As long as you're consistent, the goal has no choice but to appear. And if you're someone who struggles with consistency, the gym will teach you consistency. And if you're someone who struggles with discipline, the gym will teach you that as well, because these are very important skills to have in life. In the beginning of my journey, I'd always have, not even always, sometimes I'd have those days where, I didn't really feel like going because I'd much rather be laying in bed doing nothing and relaxing because, it's a lot more comforting. I'm at a point where I feel like I can't even afford to not go to the gym. I've done a lot to get to where I am today. So yes, I feel like going to the gym has become, a part of my identity. And if I choose not to go based on how I feel, I'm at risk of losing the progress that I've made so far. And that would just simply be a waste of my time. So if you decide to, go to the gym and you only commit for a week or two, that's very weak of you, first of all, and you quite literally wasted your time. You did all of that for nothing. You wasted your time in the gym just to revert back into old habits. But besides that, going to the gym comes with many benefits if you do decide to commit. Going to the gym, can enhance your attractiveness. You can build a better physique in the gym if you're consistent. Another thing is discipline. Discipline is a very, amazing skill to have. You may not always feel like going to the gym, but the gym doesn't care if you don't feel like going. That progress that you could potentially be making doesn't care if you don't feel like it today. You still need to go. I say that having discipline is a really good skill to have because you need to get used to doing the hard things even when you don't want to. Because that will get you very far in life. And also with being disciplined, showing up on the days that you don't want to, that is when you make genuine progress. That is when the days count the most. And once you get there, it ain't even that bad for real. The workout ain't even that bad. Your goals are important, so get into the habit of doing the hard work even when you don't want to. But yes, there are many benefits of going to the gym. Better mental health, more attractiveness, what else? Better physical health, better cardiovascular system. You also get better sleep. So yes, start engaging in, a physical activity of some sort. It doesn't have to be weightlifting. It could be going for a walk, a bike ride, anything. Just some sort of physical activity to get your body moving. Now, the fourth and final habit is having a set schedule. Now, this habit, compensates for all the previous habits that I just talked about. This habit is what is going to keep you in line. Having a set schedule from the time you wake up, from the time you go to bed. This plays a major role in all of these habits. So you need to find time to do all of these things. You need to find times to, put these things into your day. You need to make all these things fit. Having a set schedule is extremely beneficial, and this habit alone really had me on my shit. Like, this really keeps me in line. The 3 main reasons for having a set schedule, for one, is time management, productivity, and just to keep you in line, keep you focusing on the things that genuinely matter. Having a set schedule will hold you accountable for achieving your goals. I don't have a reason to be bored. I don't have a reason to be lazy. I don't have a reason to be doing nothing because I have shit to do. I have shit on my schedule. But yes, create a schedule. The first thing you need to consider when making a schedule is what time you are going to wake up, what time you are going to go to bed, because you need to prioritize your sleep. Sleep is very important, especially, for cognitive function, and just to make sure that you're energized throughout the day. You need energy to do these habits, of course. You can't do these habits if you aren't, well, I'm not going to say you can't, but you won't be able to fulfill these habits at your best if you didn't get enough rest. So get adequate rest, find a time to wake up, time to go to bed. But yes, I will add in a photo of my schedule. I have it, marked off from, the morning throughout the day to the nighttime. So there's a photo for reference. Yeah, you can adjust the schedule based on your circumstances. Everyone's life is different, of course. But yes, this is just what I do. And this schedule will change over time, of course. I'm gonna have, new things to do in the future. And my life's gonna be different in the future, considering that I'm graduating soon. So I'll have a lot more time to spend outside of school. Your schedule should make it to where you never have absolutely nothing to do. I mean, there are gonna be times where you have nothing to do, of course, but the entire point is to find some shit to do. And I'm not saying overwork. I'm just telling you to focus on the things that genuinely matter, because years from now, a lot of the things that you're engaging in won't even matter. You won't even think about, and you just want to take into account the future regret that could potentially come from wasting time, because that's the one thing we can never get back. I feel like having a daily routine just adds more meaning to your day. You're doing everything with a purpose. You're doing everything with intent. So yes, having a set schedule is beautiful. It's great. It's amazing. Yeah, that pretty much sums everything up. Just get into the habit of taking life a little bit more seriously, because life about to get serious real soon. It is. So yeah, you got to get serious. And I hope you were able to take something from this video, and I hope that this video helped you in some way.